She
Mm.
shows up to her college seminar, and it's like, "Oh, look at this handsome, young, strapping lad who's a lone wolf. Oh, do you wanna share books with me, sir?" And he's like, "Don't get too close to me, girl. I could hurt you." And I'm like, "This is like Twilight, but I actually like this." So I
It's so fucking cringe, yeah.
It's super cringe. And
But
then, like
can I
and
a
then she sees this lone wolf bad boy freaking playing with kids. It's like, "Oh, he's good with kids." And
Mm.
her ovaries just dropped, right? Like
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Anime Club After Dark's movie reviews and discussion detailing the good, the bad, and the downright ridiculous of anime movies. I'm your host, Alex, but you can call me Senpai, and tonight I am joined by our Czar of Source Material, John. I know which way to point. You and your bobbing heads.
Since Natai wasn't here, I felt like I had to do something, you know?
And I had to join in spirit.
That's right. R.I.P. Natai.
Yeah, R.I.P. Hamas killed them. I mean, what?
Damn, that just got real fucking
It's
dark.
not a joke.
Wow. It's not true. Natai is alive.
It's gonna
He's
be really
fine.
dark. You know how I have this knack for killing people by mentioning them on the podcast?
Alex, chill the fuck out.
Yeah,
My
really.
God.
Turn off your Death Note power, Alex, please.
I wish. And we also have. I'm not even gonna go by. He's an actual closet furry. It's Shinoda.
Girl, same. Them furries are something else. Why do you have like an actual title in our document, but then you change it? I don't understand.
I don't either.
The title is one thing. The caption is another thing.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Sure. We'll
Don't worry
go
about
with
it. I
that.
fucking love furries. Let's go.
Can we kick him off the podcast? I mean, what?
As if I needed another reason to hate
Yeah.
Shinoda.
But yeah, anyway, the three of us have gotten together tonight because we are doing a movie review for Mamoru Hosoda's Wolf Children, which came out in 2012. So it is a very timely review, 11 years on.
Oh wow, it's been a while.
I know. Yeah, let's get into the technical stuff. And as mentioned in previous movie reviews, once we get to the narrative section, that will be our spoilery section. So we'll be sure to let you know before we start mentioning story spoilers for the movie. So, as I said, this was directed by Mamoru Hosoda, who has also directed movies like The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, The Boy and the Beast, Mirai. I think his most recent movie was Belle, which we also
Yeah.
did a movie review on. That movie kind of sucked, not gonna lie.
He's made a couple of good
It was
movies.
it was okay. I mean,
It was very okay is a good way to describe it. It's
listen,
just okay.
you can say that it was a bad movie, but it's his most successful movie. So
Financially, yes, it is his
financially
most
successful
successful movie. Yeah. I just when we did that, I said it when we did the review. I just expected a movie about a singer making original songs to have more original songs in it.
High expectations, Alex. Way too
I
high.
know. I know.
Anyways, we're here to talk about
Yeah.
wolf children.
Yeah, we're here to talk about fucking furries.
about
This was also
fucking
a
furries.
yeah, literally that actually happens in this movie.
Actually, yeah.
This movie was co-written by Mamoru Hosoda himself as well as Sotoko Okudera, who has also collaborated with Mamoru Hosoda on writing, I think, also Mirai and The Boy and the Beast, the screenplay for him in particular. This was the very first production by Studio Chizu, which it was founded to make this movie. And I think since then they have made every single one of Mamoru Hosoda's movies.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. In 2011, Mamoru Hosoda left Madhouse and was like, "Fuck you guys! I'll make my own movies with blackjack and strippers. You know what? Forget the movies."
I think it's funny that now there's two studios that have come out because people decided to leave Madhouse. You have Studio Chizu because Mamoru Hosoda just like fuck you guys, I'm out, and then you have 8-Bit, which came out because a bunch of people were like, "God damn it, we can do this so much better than we're doing it now."
We gotta question Madhouse on a couple things, apparently.
I don't know. Maybe they're back because Farron is apparently pretty good.
Yeah, Farron's really good, actually.
This movie originally premiered in France on June 25th, 2012, and then it went on to premiere in Japan July 21st of the same year. Excuse me, and had a limited US theatrical release on September 27th, 2013. Um, Now, we usually try and find out how much it costs to make these movies, and we tried to find out with this movie, but we couldn't. So John decided to ask ChatGPT. What did ChatGPT say, John?
All right, so ChatGPT told me The Wolf Children was made on a budget of 20 million USD. And then I asked it for its source, and it says, "Sorry, I can't give you that." And I was like, "Why?" It's like, "Cause just sorry, I can't." I'm like, "Okay."
My sources, I made
So
it the fuck up.
yeah, ChatGPT truly is
Senator
the
Armstrong.
senator, Senator Armstrong.
Uh,
His source is that he made it the fuck up.
but I was able to find some box office numbers. As of this year, I wasn't able to find like a specific month, but as of 2023, worldwide, it has made roughly 55 million US dollars.
It's a
And that
lot
is
of money.
not adjusted for inflation, with a total runtime of 117 minutes. Now, I want to point out, this is not currently streaming anywhere, sadly. So I thought, yo ho, but then I realized I looked behind me on the bookshelf and I'm like, I own it.
Yeah, I was like, "We own the Blu-rays, bro." Which is what?
I know. And then I also made a grave mistake because I looked at the back and I saw runtime 85 minutes. I'm like, that's a lot. That's pretty short for a Mamoru Hosoda movie. So I'm like, all right, I'll watch this right before I go to bed. And then I start watching the movie and it's got like a nearly 2 hour long runtime. And I look at it on the back, it's 85 minutes for the extra features on the Blu-ray.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like, "This movie was like 2 hours long, bro. Like what? 85 minutes."
So that's just poor planning on actually it's poor reading comprehension on my part. Uh
Alex getting old, got to check his eyes.
I know, I know. But let's talk about the
Oh,
art.
man.
This movie has some gorgeous scenery porn. I'm not even lying.
Oh,
Oh,
dude,
no, it's ridiculous how good it
absolutely
actually looks.
in Mamoru Hosoda fashion, the
Mm.
backgrounds look amazing.
Hmm.
I don't think there's a single movie that he's done where I think the backgrounds look bad.
No, even like some of his older movies, the backgrounds look amazing. I'll be honest with you, the backgrounds in this are very reminiscent of something like Makoto Shinkai movies because like that
Yeah.
those in those movies like there's amazing attention to detail in the background art, and I got that sense watching this movie too.
Wouldn't surprise me if there was some inspiration going on over there.
I mean, maybe I feel like in general, like background art has been getting better and better in recent years, like in the last 10-15 years.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
also there's like a few shots in this movie that are around water, and the water is gorgeously animated.
And I will say they do use CG in this.
They do.
I I noticed a lot of CG in it actually, but for the most part, a lot of the CG is done really well. Like they
Yeah.
use CG for certain points of the water, and it looks really realistic. I really like the water, like the rain effects and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
also
they had
scenes where they
they did that
use
with the
like
snow effects too. That's CG as
yeah,
well.
well that entire yeah, the stupid fucking whatever. But that one was very noticeably like, oh wow, man,
Yeah.
am I watching the opening song for Clannad? Like what the hell? I hear this one. Does it
God,
not remind you of that?
remember the janky CG in that opening? Holy crap.
But yeah, but like the trees and stuff, they use CG to make those sway and stuff instead of like
Mhm.
actually animating it. And I was just like, that doesn't look terrible. Like it looks
No.
pretty good. And
It's
I've
almost
mentioned
like
it.
they actually put the work into it.
Well, I've mentioned it before, but with CG, like blending 2D and CG is a very difficult thing to do because either you have to have super stylized, cartoony CG or just really bad art to make the two look the same.
Yeah,
Like
to make them
Futurama.
blend well.
Yeah, Futurama is the example I used last time where it's like Matt Groening was like, well, let's just make it super cartoony so that way when we use 3D, the CG for like the ship and stuff when they're flying around, it looks fine. It doesn't look terribly off.
Hmm.
And when I was little, obviously I didn't notice that it was CG at all because it's not a glaring obvious difference. because
Mm.
it's stylized to be like the rest of the cartoon.
Yeah. I will say one interesting use of or not use interesting case of not using CG in this movie. In a lot of modern anime, anytime there's a car moving in it, it's usually CG, which is
Right.
sad because there's, I don't think it's necessary. In this movie, when they had every opportunity to use CG to make the cars move, it's all hand drawn.
Yeah, like the one weird thing. The one time like you do it for trees and water, but you don't do it
Do
for
it
the
for
car.
cars.
Kind of
Which
weird.
uh, it was noticeable to me because I'm so used to, especially in the last 10 to 15 years, seeing every time you see a car on screen it being CG.
Right.
Um, the first person shots when they're showing like the wolves moving around, that's all CG too, and it's kind of janky when it just instantly cuts to it. But like for the way they look in the shot, it's fine. It's just the cut to the is so abrupt.
Right.
It's kind of out of nowhere, and it's noticeable,
Mm,
unfortunately.
mm. There's also that shot about 3/4 of the way through the movie where Ame is like drowning in the water. The
Mhm.
water in that shot is so fucking gorgeously animated.
Kids drowning. Man, look at that beautiful
Man, look at
water.
that water.
I drown in that water.
It's so crisp and clear. Oh my god.
uh, and just I want to, before we move on to like the sound design and stuff, like the cinematography in this is really good because you got those like big sweeping environmental shots, but then you
Mhm.
also have these really tight like interior shots that are again gorgeously animated, and it's
Right.
like there's so much detail in all of these shots. It's so good. I just every time they do go to any kind of establishing shot, I know it's going to be beautiful, and I love it.
Yeah, I feel like Mamoru Hosoda has always been in the shadow of Makoto Shinkai in terms of, like, anime
Could you
director.
imagine if they collaborated on a movie though?
Oh, they would fucking hate each other because Mamoru
Probably.
Hosoda originally Mamoru Hosoda was gonna direct Howl's Moving Castle, and
I did not
because
know
of
that.
yes, he was originally the director for it, but because of creative differences between Studio Ghibli and Mamoru Hosoda,
Mm.
Hosoda being like, "Hey, I was gonna make it in, Miyazaki's, like, way, but I wanted to put my own spin on it," and Ghibli's like,
Mhm.
"No." So he
No.
was like, "Well, fuck you then," and then I'm just like, "Oh, good thing Mamoru Hosoda left because, man." Can you imagine Howl's Moving Castle being directed by Mamoru Hosoda? I definitely can, and it would not be, I
As good?
believe
It wouldn't be
it's not
great.
it's not Ghibli's highest grossing film, right? I think it's Spirited Away.
No. I think it may be, like, their highest, like, rated in terms of, like, critical success,
Right, but
but we're up there with Spirited Away.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
Spirited Away is, like, their most,
Yeah,
uh
Spirited Away made the most money.
And
yeah,
it's the only one that's won an Academy Award.
right, so that's just, a little tidbit. So, yeah, if if Shinkai and, Hosoda work together, I don't think it would.
That just reminds me hearing you say that, 'cause that sounds exactly like how, Hayao Miyazaki would respond to something like that, like saying, "I wanna do it your way, but in my style." Just him going, "No."
Yeah.
It's like when Harvey Weinstein wanted to do the cuts for Nausicaa to make it more kid friendly, and instead of like actually responding to him, Hayao Miyazaki just
A
FedExed
fucking
him a fucking
sword.
samurai sword with a note attached to it that said "No cuts."
Dude, Miyazaki's kind of a fucking beast, like,
He is.
when he what like, what did he do? He saw his son directed a movie, he went to watch it, and it was so god awful that he
He
just
walked
walks
out.
out.
He
Like,
walked out on
damn,
his own
bro.
son's movie.
Oh,
God,
dude. Hayao
man is a
Miyazaki, man.
beast. Makes my mom look tame.
Yeah, what a fucking G. Holy shit.
Um, oh, and I wanna say, like, even without knowing Mamoru Hosoda directed this, Mamoru Hosoda has the most, like, distinct character designs ever. Like, I can look at a character, not knowing what their name is, not knowing, anything about them except just looking at their design, it's like, "This is from a Mamoru Hosoda movie," and that's on full display here in this
It was
movie.
really weird. So, the mom in the movie,
Mm,
she looks super thin.
mhm.
But then, like, they get to the scene where you can see her titties, and it's like she
Mm,
got giant titties, and I'm like, "What
yeah.
happened here?" Like she don't look like she got giant titties, but now she has giant titties. What?
I know it's kind of weird how that works, isn't it?
No, freaking anime logic, dude.
It's like Bochi. Bochi in the manga
Oh.
has basangas.
Oh my god.
And in the anime just took it away from us. Like, why? Why?
It's not
Why?
away, it's hidden. Thank you very much.
Okay, okay. She's got a magic pocket then. She got a
Yeah,
magic
she
boob
does.
pocket.
Moving on, let's talk
Moving
about
on to the
the
sound design,
highlight. I think
and
that
the music.
the sound design and the sound scoring and music scoring, all that stuff in Wolf Children is the highlight of the film.
Absolutely. The soundtrack is like it's subtle, but it's bombastic when it needs to be.
I love every single piece of music they used and to
Mm,
make you feel emotions. I love the major use of silence through a lot of scenes for you just to
mm.
like enjoy and watch.
I was
It's done so well.
I was about to say I really love the fact that it's there when it needs to be and it's not there when it's not needed. They use it constructively and it works so beautifully.
Yeah. I love it how like in the scenes where characters are being like introspective or just thinking about stuff, there's no music, there's no like there's nothing but like the wind in the background and maybe some sound effects of like a wind chime or something off in the distance. Like
Right.
that's it. Or maybe some insects. Like that's all you hear. There's nothing like getting in the way of you realizing that like these characters are like deep in their own thoughts.
It
And
pulls you into their thoughts with them.
yes. Yes. And then you have the moment like where Ame is traipsing through the forest and the mountain with Sensei, and it's got that big like the bombastic taiko drums, and it's like it's so cool. And you see all those great like sweeping shots of the scenery. It's
Yeah.
great.
The music composed by Masakatsu Takagi.
That's a mouthful of a name, by the way.
I don't Nihongo, so
Um,
Masakatsu Takagi.
yeah. He's done a couple of other Mamoru Hosoda films, The Boy and the Beast and Mirai. Um, I looked at some of his other discography. I didn't really recognize any of it. So I think these are the two, besides Wolf Children, the two other things that he's worked on that I think a lot of people would recognize. Um, Also, I want to ask you guys: did you, when you rewatch this or watch this for the first time? I don't know. Did you watch it in English or Japanese?
I rewatched it in English just
Okay.
for a different experience because
I
I think that the Japanese dub it's fine. It's
Hmm.
not like spectacular, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Like it gets the job done. Like it's it's how I feel about like Suzume. It's how I feel about Bell. Like the Japanese
Hmm.
voice acting is like okay.
Yeah.
It's not terrible. It's not amazing.
I would
I mean,
agree.
I would go and say it's good. Like it's good.
Man.
It's fine.
I originally so I when this movie originally came to theaters back in 2013 here in the States, that's where I originally watched it. And I was only able to watch it in English. So that was my first like
Oh, okay.
experience with it. So I rewatched it this time in Japanese. Since I'd never seen it in Japanese. I have to say though, and I did go and watch a couple of scenes before we started recording this with the English dub and to kind of refresh my memory. The English dub
Mhm.
is pretty damn good.
Yeah, I like it. Um,
Um,
it's definitely not on the level of like Bell. The English voice acting in Bell, amazing. All right, superior.
I will give Bell some credit in that regard. The English dub is really good.
So the I tried to watch it in Japanese at first, just because like and I originally was told about this movie by our Lord and Founder, Marcus.
Oh boy. There's a rare mention of Marcus on the podcast these days.
Back in like I think 20 I want to say 2016, he was like, "Oh, have you seen Wolf Children? Dude, it's really good." And I'm just like, "No, I haven't. I'll watch it." So I picked it up and I watched it and back then, all right, dark past, I used to be a Japanese dub purist.
Oh
Like get
boy.
that English shit out of my face.
Oh boy.
So I was like, "Oh, it sounds terrible. Japanese is the 100% the way to go."
Is
And
the superior language.
it dude, it's cringe. I used to be like that. Back in early adulthood, high school days, it's just like, no.
John tips fedora.
Yeah, it was
Nihongo desu?
And the funniest thing is I didn't even understand Japanese as much as I do today. Like, it's even worse. Now that I understand Japanese a lot more, like, I'm like I'm not fluent, but you can understand it and, Rosetta Stone and all that stuff. I think that the English dub is better
Mm,
because a lot of the sayings that they do in the, Japanese dub get translated really well in the English.
mm,
Like, especially, like, with the grandpa character when he shows up and he says,
yeah.
like, certain things. Because as I watched it in English, I still had the Japanese subtitles on,
Ah.
so I could compare the differences between the dialogue. Because 'cause I'm a weirdo like that, I guess.
No, I do that too sometimes when I'm watching, like, English dubs to, like, compare and contrast.
Mhm. So, I think that in my personal opinion, whoever did the, directing for the ADR for the, English, fantastic job. Whoever rewrote the script, fantastic job.
I believe it was Mike McFarland, but I'm not 100% sure about that.
God, unprepared, Alex. You're supposed to be the one who does the research and everything, man.
I I know he was actually appeared in the dub in as some in some capacity, but I think he also did the ADR direction on it.
Huh. Well, when I rewatched it, I watched it in sub because the first I've only seen this movie one other time, and that was years ago. So I was like, all right, it's been forever. I need let me get a refresh on it, just straight up. That being said, I have seen clips of the dub as well, and no matter what, I think it's fantastic either way. Like no problem whatsoever of the voice acting in either language.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it doesn't blow you away or anything like that. But it's good. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Uh,
trying to look it up real quick right now. I'm sorry.
that's fine.
Oh my
It's bothering me. It's bothering me because I know I saw the name because I watched the entire freaking credits because I
You
like that.
actually sat there, just
No,
Alex
because
with a pen and paper watching the credits,
no,
like, write that down, write that down.
no, I just like the song at the end a lot. I
Oh yeah,
don't know.
I mean, again, music's very beautiful. I love it.
So I just sitting there listening to. I can't find the list of the actual English or the English revisioning crew. God damn it! I had one job. Anyway, I think it's Mike McFarland. Don't quote me on that though. Um, whoever did the ADR direction on the English dub did a really good job though.
Right.
Um, all
Shall we
right.
move on to the spoiler section then?
Yes, I think it is about time. So yeah, spoilers from here on out. If you haven't seen it, I think that all three of us here can say go watch it. It's pretty good. Um, we'll give our actual scores at the end. But yeah. So spoilers. Um, Hana took that wolf dick like a champ. Just saying.
Oh my god. So
I have to
literally,
question if she did it in both forms with him.
no, he literally goes down on her in his wolf form. Do you not
Full on
remember
wolf,
that?
full on Beauty and the
It
Beast
was
shit
Oh,
right
right,
it
here.
right,
was yes.
right.
Like after the first of all, the meet cute, right, was so fucking dumb. She
Hmm.
shows up to her college seminar and it's like, "Oh, look at this handsome young strapping lad who's a lone wolf. Oh, do you want to share books with me, sir?" And he's like, "Don't get too close to me, girl. I could hurt you." And I'm like, "This is like Twilight, but I actually like this." So
It's so fucking cringe, yeah.
it's super cringe. And
But
then like
can I?
and then she sees this lone wolf bad boy freaking playing with kids. It's like, "Oh, he's good with kids." And her ovaries just dropped, right? Like,
Do
and
you?
then she gets that wolf dick, boy.
There's a good point of cinematography in that scene though, because she's watching him through a doorway, like opening new doors. Aha, aha.
There's a lot of allegory in this movie.
There is. There's a
A
ton of
lot of
allegory.
symbolism and
There's a
allegory.
lot of symbolism. There's a lot of it. I mentioned it before, but this movie does say a ton with silence. Mamoru Soda, to his credit, is taking a page out of Satoshi Kon's book and using silence as dialogue in a lot of scenes.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Um,
The
Works
less is
really
more
well.
approach is very effective, especially for a story like this.
Hmm.
This is such a it's a weird story because there's not really one central main character. Like the main character is the family.
Yeah.
Like, it's all 3 of them. They all get equal parts to this story.
Hmm.
So, it's like it's just dude, it's a beautiful fucking movie. Like, this is
It
it's probably my favorite Mamoru Hosoda movie. Like,
it's kind of a like we mentioned, it is kind of a cringy meet cute setup.
yeah, it is.
But it turns out to be a really good story being told through that cringy setup. So if you can get through the cringy like setup, it's actually there's a lot of good stuff here.
Yeah, like, the first 10-ish, 15-ish minutes is, like, just cringe. It's like, "Ugh, meet cute," like, whatever, I don't really care.
I mean, some of it is
But
is is genuinely like cute romance stuff.
well,
Yeah.
it's cuter later on when, they, like she approaches the dude, and he's just like, "Grr, I'm a lone wolf, leave me alone," and then, like, somehow they just start dating. He's like
It works. I
it
mean, I
just they just
guess.
start dating, and then we just see, like, a montage of their life together, and
Mhm.
then now, like, girl's pregnant now,
That means she
and it's
took
just
that
like,
wolf dick
"Ooh."
not once but twice. I'm just
Well,
putting that
because
as
I believe
twice.
it was after that scene where, like, he finally opens up to her to,
Mhm.
oh my god, I don't remember the mom's name.
Hana, flower.
Hana, Flower, yeah. Yeah, he finally opens up to Hana before they get, like, down and nerdy, and he's like,
By the
"Look at
way,
me,
do you know in
I'm a
this entire
monster."
movie, despite the fact that at the beginning of the movie, like the wolf dude, the father, like figure, is an important central like driving point of the story, he's never given a name in the entire movie. He's just Okami, wolf.
Yeah, he's just Wolf Dad.
Yeah.
He literally doesn't have a name.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
he
don't I
finally,
don't
like,
read I don't read the Nihongo. I don't know if his driver's license actually had a name on it.
oh, that's a great idea. I could have actually seen if he had a name or not on the driver's license.
Also, funny. It's kind of funny yet tragic at the same time that the little shrine they have in their house, since she never had like a proper picture of him, they just use the driver's license as like the shrine picture.
That's so
Well, yeah, because the dad was, like, lone wolf mysterious man, and he had no parents either, and it's just, like that's what made it so sad. Like, I was
Mhm.
pissed off at him for so long throughout the movie because I was like so Hana and Wolf Dad get down and dirty. Maybe in his
Twice.
furry form, maybe not, who knows? But she has kids, right? She has the first kid is oh my god,
Yuki.
Yuki, and
The
the second
names are
kid is
Yuki and Ame, snow and rain.
oh, that's right. Weather names. It's in
Yeah.
freaking Japan. They're nature-based names, freaking Nagisa and freaking Umi, like, oh, anyway,
all right. Calm
Naruto.
down.
that's not nature themed. Naruto is a food.
Wait.
Anyway,
That's yeah, 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 yeah.
Wait a minute. I think Uzumaki is what I'm thinking of because that means
Yeah,
spiral
yeah,
spiral. Yeah.
or
but
whirlpool.
eventually freaking Wolf Dad dies, and I'm just like, "What the heck, bro? Like, why would you leave? Why would you do something so goddamn stupid and leave your damn wife and your 2 kids?"
And he's so unceremoniously disposed of. They just throw him in the back of the garbage truck.
Yeah.
Bro,
Oh god,
that
that
was
scene was ugh.
insulting.
Ugh.
No, that was so sad, dude,
It
when
was
Hama
sad.
finds him, like, oh my god.
I mean, it is meant to be kind of insulting to the mother because, like, no one knows because it's a secret.
Yeah,
They
and
think he's
then
just a dead animal.
you'd think that they'd fucking make a bigger deal about finding a wolf because they're like, "Hey, wolves have been extinct in Japan for, like, the last 100 years. Here's just a random ass dead wolf that someone ran over that was hunting a pheasant."
Yeah.
Like, you would assume that that would
Should be questions asked.
there'd be a lot of questions being asked, like, "Holy shit, is that a wolf in Japan? A Japanese fucking wolf?" And they
Hmm.
even mentioned that, like, "Oh, wolf dads was, ancestors was wolves, and but they've been extinct for, like, over 100 years."
Hmm.
People would question that. People be like, "Yo, what the fuck? Is that a Hoshian wolf? Holy shit!"
Yeah.
But whatever.
I just will hand wave that.
Yeah, just forget about that. But
That's
um,
not
yeah, I
what the
was so
story's
pissed off at him.
about.
I was just like, "I can't believe you would leave your kids and your wife alone like that."
yeah. I mean, it seems like a really silly way to die, especially knowing that, like, when you're gone, she's gonna have no way to actually know how to raise these kids by
But
herself.
it does serve as a story beat for later.
Yes,
So,
it does.
Yeah, and then she has some savings left over from him because he was working like a mover job or a construction job or something like he the freaking I don't know what he actually did. It just looked
I,
like he was a moving company.
it looks like he's a man with a van.
A
He
man
he
in a
was
van who moves
working.
stuff. Yeah, he worked and he did leave them some money, but obviously that's Hana has to now take care of freaking two kids by herself, and it's so
Yeah,
sad. Like watching the single mother grow up and raising two kids by herself
and she
with
drops
no
out of
one to
school,
turn to. She has to drop out of school to like maintain everything, and it's just like
leaves her
it's like
job,
when she was like doing the laundry, she's like getting a moment of peace, so she's falling asleep while doing the laundry with the
which
kid
I
on with
imagine is
Omni on her
something
back.
that's imagine that's something that's very relatable to actual single parents.
Yeah, and like the fact that no one else gave a fuck. Like
Yeah,
the
the
families
landlord
around
lady,
the landlord's like, I don't care. You're a fucking who cares? Like what's wrong with you?
who
Pay me money. And
give me money. You are not giving me enough money. Get out.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, then that the whole decision to go out to the countryside. It's like I knew that was coming. Like it's like this is the obvious like solution. Go out into the countryside where no one's gonna give a shit.
Yeah, because eventually CPS gets called on her. And
Yeah,
because or rather CPS is like, "Hey, so we see that you recorded that you have two children, but they don't have their fucking shots and
yeah, their
we have no
vaccines and
records.
stuff.
So like we need to see if they're still fucking alive." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's a real thing actually." But I also was like, moving to the countryside does not solve that problem.
Not immediately, no.
Like,
Not at
the
all.
CPS still knows that you apparently have kids and that they might be in danger because you literally have never taken them to the hospital.
It would just take
And
longer for them to get to your house.
yeah. Also, I thought it was funny. Oh my god, Yuki eats like a silica gel packet
Yeah,
and she's like
dumb kid.
vomiting. Yeah, like a dumb fucking kid. Kids be doing kid shit. And when Hana takes her to she's like taking her daughter to Yuki to like the hospital. Then there's
Mhm.
like a veterinary place right next door. She's like,
Yeah.
"Fuck, which one?"
Which is
I
kind of
was
a
like,
valid question.
I was like, "Yeah, yeah, which one?" She
Yeah,
did eat it when she was in wolf form. Does that change? Like, I have so many more questions about the wolf transformation stuff now, Mama Hosoda, and I know
yeah.
you're not ever gonna fucking answer any of this for me
No,
because that's not what the movie's fucking about.
no. Yeah, I mean, the movie itself is just it's an allegorical story. It really is. There's a ton of allegories in here. Of course, there's the whole thing with the single parent trying to raise two kids on her own, as difficult as that is, but it's set against the backdrop of having two kids that are essentially from two different worlds, like i.e. being mixed race.
Yeah,
And like the struggles that they have, and I not being mixed race myself, I don't know from like personal experience, but I imagine if you are a person of mixed race heritage, there is that point in your life where you like think, which where do I go? Which way do I go with?
yeah. It's being like from a traditional family. Like my family were immigrants and stuff like that, and I'm
Mm,
first generation American. I had to grow up with two different cultures
hmm.
and learning to balance the two and like which one you like. Because eventually, when I was younger, I definitely chose like fuck the traditional values, fuck all that. Like I'm American, like I don't give a fuck about any of that. But as I got older, I realized like your roots aren't do matter. I don't have to practice everything that they practice and stuff like that, but there's a lot of good in your
Mm.
roots that you can look for as long as you want to look for it. And it's the same way, like when you have two different cultures conflicting on the inside, where it's like one is weird and makes people like with Yuki, she wants to go to school but she can't because it's like, well, you've got your wolf form, and Hana's worried about like if you get exposed, like what's gonna fucking happen? Because again, that is a weird shit. Like people would be fucking coming down, like holy shit, wolf people, holy fuck, furries would be paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for a follicle. But anyway, yeah, and then when she finally gets to school, she's like, she doesn't fit in. Yuki's like wants to be herself, which is like this, wild, rambunctious child who likes snakes
Tomboy.
and yeah, she's a giant
Yeah.
tomboy. But a lot of it is her nature as a wolf person is
Hmm.
very strong when she's young. And she has to curb that side of her if she wants to fit in because everyone else thinks she's just weird. And
I like how
again,
she grabs the rat snake. Is like, look, and everyone's like, ah.
I know. So, yeah, and then Hana makes the choice of like, I want to fit in. I don't want to be a wolf person anymore. So she's like, she takes that side away and she
Mhm.
like suppresses herself. And it's a sad that
Mm.
she has to do that because she's like, you can't be yourself if you want to live here,
Yeah,
which is again very symbolic, very allegorical of a story. Is why it's a
and
really good film.
on the opposite end of that spectrum, you have Ame, who's way more like reserved, sort of introverted as he's
Hmm.
growing up, and then he decides like, no, I don't want to embrace this human side of me. I want to embrace the wolf. I want to
Yeah,
be wolf.
and that specifically, that trigger happens when he sees a kingfisher and he wants to chase it, and then he falls into the ice. And then as he's
Mm,
falling into the ice, like just his Yuki comes and actually saves him, so he doesn't drown and die.
mm.
And freaking Alex,
What?
oh look at this beautiful
Look at
water,
this
kids.
beautiful water. Fuck the kid that's drowning.
But at this point, Yuki is, I believe this is when she first started school, right?
Yes,
It's
yes, it
it's
is.
shortly after,
Well,
yes.
it's yeah, a
Shortly
little bit
after.
after.
So she's still like wild when she can be, and like not wild when she doesn't have to be.
Yeah,
But
this whole
she's
thing
starting.
happens when they all go out in the wintertime and they're somehow skiing without skis. I don't know how that works, but
Just don't question it. Yeah, but Ame, his instincts kick in, and
Mhm.
he's just like, he's just like his dad, where when the instinct to hunt kicks in, it just kicks in, and he just goes like full beast
Full
mode.
wolf mode.
Full yeah, full hunter mode. It's just like, and this is where Ame switches from like being a shy, like, "Oh, I don't want to do that. Can we go home, mom, kid?" to like now he's dark and brooding and mysterious like his father. And I'm just like, "Oh, look at that. It's freaking mini Okami dad."
But yeah, it's two very different, like diverging paths on that mixed race heritage. One decides to embrace the human side, the other decides to embrace the wolf side. Which I
Yeah.
feel like there's a lot of people that who come from mixed race backgrounds that can probably relate to that.
Yeah.
Um,
And then there's also another small one. When they move to the countryside, it's a lot of the people who still live in the country are just like older people who've
Yeah,
been tilling the land since they were like 5.
my
So,
family's been here for 18 generations.
yeah, exactly. And it's like it's boonies, and your neighbors are miles and miles away, but the people eventually come together and help Hana out because they realize like she's not just some city slicker who's coming here with this crazy dream. And
they
of
actually
course,
observed her putting in the hard work trying to take care of her family, and they appreciated that. They built
yeah,
she managed to build a community around herself.
yeah, and it was so sweet because I'm like, yeah, that's the great thing about like having a going to the countryside to have less eyes, but she's like more connected to people than ever going to the countryside because of that, because they
Which I
all
feel
have
like
to look
is
out.
it's the paradox of like rural living. Like there's less people, but the people that are out there kind of look out for each other most of the time.
Well, like because my family,
Because you have to make the effort to actually see people when you're
Yeah.
living in the country.
well,
Makes you
so
appreciate people
living
more.
in my family's mountain people. We're from like mountain tribes and stuff like that, and a lot of ours is like you got to help out family because we all help each other out
Mhm.
all the time. We're always looking out for each other because we all pitch in to help each other out. And that's something that they did touch on in the movie where the grandpa dude, like when he first comes over and he's like teaching Hana how to like actually do shit.
Mhm.
You won't get anywhere hoeing like that.
What a great line.
Oh, the freaking English. I love it. But yeah, she's like, he makes her till like an extra land, and she's like, "Why? We don't need that much land for us to grow vegetables." I'm like, first of all, Hana, do you even know about crop rotation? But whatever, I digress. But it was so she could plant other things, so that way other people could help her out, and she can help them out in turn as well. It
Mhm.
was something that he set up to let her understand like it's a community based effort. It's
He doesn't
beautiful.
tell her that he's doing all of this to teach her this stuff. He just says, "Do this, do that,
Yeah,
bitch.
he's just
You're
a
not listening to me."
cranky grandpa. I like that
Cranky,
he
wholesome grandpa.
Yeah, like he cared so much for her because it's like it's his surrogate daughter.
Yeah. I like how one of the characters, like one of the community characters, like is musing to themselves, I wonder if he has the hots for her. And the other was like, he's 90.
Yeah.
uh I love the little scenes like that with like the people in the community, and especially like once she starts actually growing crops, she starts going to the other people's houses with her extras, and they just give
Yeah.
her like this one person just comes out with a giant thing of like turnips. I'm like, that is a lot of turnips, my dude.
Ah,
Yeah,
that's real. That is very
and that's
real.
part of why he had her till the field to do that because it's a
Mm,
community thing. You know, it's if you've ever like even my family right now, whenever we get extra stuff, we go around giving like, "Hey, we have extra this. Do you want some?"
yeah,
It's just like I it hit very close to home for me. This
yeah.
community based effort
I
stuff. I'm like,
kind of,
oh, it's just like my family.
I will say if I do have, I do have a couple of criticisms of this movie, and that's kind of one I do have. I kind of wish this has been expanded on a little more, like especially the
Yeah,
stuff with the grandpa.
there's a lot of story beats that don't really go anywhere. Like they kind of just exist to move the story along to a certain point, and then they fall off. Like the grandpa
Mm.
thing. Like the fucking they mentioned, oh, people don't really till the soil here anymore because the animals are encroaching and taking all the crops and stuff. So I was like, oh, is that he mentions that? Does that mean is going to be a problem later on? Literally doesn't ever come up ever again. Like I'm like,
No,
okay, it's just a story beat that we just don't care about, I guess. Like, oh, well, it's fine.
I
And
do like that there's one of the characters when Hana's like learning to farm from them, like to grow vegetables. And they're talking about growing cabbages. Like, hey, what you want to do is you want to plant this cabbage with chamomile, and it keeps the like the rodents away. And I'm like, that's actually true. That's real. If you
Is it
actually plant
really?
cabbage with chamomile, it keeps rodents from taking the cabbages.
yeah, because they don't like the smell of chamomile.
Mm.
But then
Oh.
the other grandpa uncle was like, "No, she can't. What's she gonna do? Eat tea leaves? She's gotta plant lettuce." And he's like, "Lettuce, you idiot! That's not for beginners."
You know
I'm
what
just
that
like, "Ah,
reminded me
yes,
of? You
the
know what that
OGs
reminds me
arguing
of?
about how to actually farm properly." I understand this so well. Damn.
I Do you know what that reminds me of? It
What?
reminds
What
me of
is it?
people talking about guns. Because everyone has their own opinions on what the greatest gun is for beginners.
Oh yeah. So there's the story about the family is the overarching like main character, right? Because
Mm,
in the beginning we have Hana's story, which is the meet cute and raising the kids by herself. But eventually we transitioned over to Yuki being the main character for a little bit, you know, with again with her like
she narrates the whole movie, by the way.
she does narrate the whole movie, but there's only like a couple sections where she actually does narrate. There's like
Mm,
5 or 6, I think.
yeah.
I didn't really count, but it's not too much.
Usually
But
it's right before a time skip.
oh yeah. But the important thing is Yuki is a little shit. Holy fuck.
I love
Fuck
her
this
so much.
kid.
I love
Like
her so much.
when Hana is raising the dang kids and they're just rambunctious as fuck, and it's just it's so real because kids are like that. They
They
don't
were
know
literally
anything.
bouncing off the walls.
Literally bouncing off the walls,
Like that
chewing
scene where
shit
they
up,
turn into
like
the
doing
wolves and
whatever.
like break the house in two.
Oh, that's when they fight later, but no, like Yuki, like the fact that she's caught in wolf form, right?
Mm.
And then she goes around to the front and then comes in as human and be like, "Hello, auntie. Hello, uncle." And then she goes back to where the wolf was, and then they're like, "Oh, you have a dog?" And she's just like, she transforms back into a wolf to like pretend like there's a wolf and her there. And I'm like, "You little shit. What the hell? You promised you wouldn't do that in front of people. You fight." Like typical kid shit.
Liar.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
she becomes the main focus of the story eventually because she when she at the diverging point where she realizes I want to fit in, and she chooses the path of being a human. And oh god, it's so sad because Hana is so happy that her daughter is choosing the path of human because obviously Hana's human, so she's like, oh, I can
Mm.
teach you about dresses and cute stuff and how to be a girl, like she because that's something she knows. And at this point, Ame, he's the one who chooses, like, he wants to embrace his wolf side. So when we get to him later on, like with Sensei and stuff like that, he's like, he's learned about nature. He's learned about the balance of this and that, and he wants to be a wolf. And it's so sad because Hana doesn't want to let him go because one, he's exactly like his father, and two, and then she never
She
taught him
doesn't want
anything.
to let her kids go.
Yeah,
That's
she doesn't wanna
what
let her kid
every
go,
mother
but
is
it's
like.
like it's hard for when she realizes that, Ame wants to be a wolf and he wants to be with nature, he wants to embrace that other side because Hana originally has the purpose of going to the countryside to, get away from prying eyes, but also she says she wants to let the kids choose.
Mhm.
She wants them to be raised in an environment where they can choose what they want, so they can figure it out, and I'm sure that's how she felt, but obviously, she's biased because she's a human. She wants them to live as humans because she's a human. She knows how to do that. She doesn't know how to be a wolf. And when Ame does choose to be a wolf, Hana is like, "No, I forbid it. You can't go to that mountain. I do not allow it." And she says, "It's because you're not a wolf." And then she catches herself and she's like, "Anyway, just like you can't go." And it's just like it's so sad because it's like, ah, because obviously, as a parent, you have dreams and aspirations for your child, right? There are things you want them to do, things you don't want them to do, but you also want them to experience life and do everything that they want to do. But at the same
Yeah.
time, it's like not everything. It's a difficult choice, and it's like such a beautiful story to watch this family grow up and like choose their paths. I just like I like this movie so much.
I like how at the end it's not quite as sad as a movie like the ending of the movie Machia, but
Right,
the story beat is very similar, having to let go and
right.
realizing that you finally have to let go. That scene where Hana finds Ame like after the rainstorm. Um and then he like finds her. She takes a beating, by the way, going through the mountains in the rainstorm. Guys, kudos to her for taking that beating like a champ. Um, but when he finds her and they have there's almost no dialogue in the scene, and almost all actually all the dialogue comes from Hana, like pleading with her, "Don't go, don't go," and then she sees him as like the full wolf form, and it's like he just looks back as he walks away, and then up the mountain.
That boy gone.
But it's a very similar like story beat to the very end of Machia.
Yeah, and then there's narration and stuff of like Yuki, where
Yeah,
Yuki's like it's like 2 years later and she has to move out to go to like
the junior
move
high
out to the
school.
school the junior high school dorm so she can actually go to junior high.
Mm,
But she Yuki says like, but after 2 years, mom finally was able to let me go,
mhm.
and it's just like it's because it's so sad because I forgot at this point like Hana's been a single parent this entire time.
Yeah,
Yep.
pretty
Like
much.
the only things that she has left from her husband, or
As a
rather
driver's
baby
license.
daddy, is his driver's license. But no, it's the kids.
Yeah.
Like that's all she has left. She has nothing else. And it's so sad because it's like again, kids are gonna be kids. They want to grow up and go their own ways. But it's like you don't realize the effect that you're gonna have on the people like who raised you.
Mhm.
It's very sad.
Yeah.
It's very but then the ending I think is very bittersweet because it's like it's not I would say it is a happy ending. It's not a bad ending for sure. It's not anything sad, but it's
It
just life.
yeah.
It's
But
just
yeah,
life.
moving on. It's like about like, you have this period in your life where you're raising a kid and then the kid is raised. I mean, granted, like Yuki and Ame are still pretty young, but like they're both off on their own doing their own thing and you have to let go. That's the biggest part of being a parent is that part where you have to let them go.
You know.
And you
And I
never
also
know how
say
it's going to end. Like there's no one way to raise a child, right?
unless you buy my book, How to Raise a Child the Correct Way.
John,
Like
no, no.
Daily beatings with a fucking stick.
the beating stick.
Yeah.
How to find one.
We
But
here at Anime Club After Dark do not condone child abuse.
uh but one of the story beats that I was like, I feel unresolved on is Sohei and Yuki. I was just like,
Yes.
oh man, look at this meet cute. Look at this dude. Look at this kid. He has a crush on her. Oh, I just
Uh,
it
I
feels so
feel like
unresolved.
that's another thing that I feel like wasn't developed anywhere near enough. It's also left ambiguous as to how it ends. Like when she goes off to junior high, does he go with her?
Yeah, I was
Mm.
hoping that I would see like pictures of her together with him or something in junior high so I can like, oh, they got together. They're oh man,
They're
it's
like
so
an actual
cool.
couple.
There's
Yeah.
so many
But
little plot lines throughout the movie that just don't get carried forward,
But I
unfortunately.
understand why
Yeah.
Mamoru Hosoda wouldn't pursue that plot line
Yeah.
because this is not a movie about Yuki or about Ame or about Hana. It's about all of them.
It's about family.
Yeah, that's right. Fast 7.
Ah!
Freaking Dom.
It's
Dom Toretto?
family.
I haven't seen Fast and Furious in so long. I don't remember.
It's okay. It's not the same as it used to be. It's
Yeah,
not
I
even
bet.
about racing anymore, man.
No, it's about like going to space and
Yeah, we
robbing
go to
banks and stuff.
space.
I don't know. I don't know, bro.
Uh,
But yeah, this
yeah,
movie it resolves really well. And I wish there was more. I definitely felt like it was the beginning was it did drag on like the first 30-ish minutes. I was just like kind of like, oh yeah, whatever, typical stuff.
mhm.
But once you get past like that initial hump of like the first of all the cringe like first 5 minutes, and then the initial hump of like her having to raise the kids and like basically city life just being a piece of shit to a single mom, that first 30 minutes, and then you get to the other hour and a half, and I didn't notice it pass by, and I was like, "Fuck, I could have sat
Yeah,
here for another like 38 minutes to an hour for the for the rest of the story. Like, where's the rest, Mama Hosoda?
yeah.
Where's my resolutions? I want to
I
see
feel
I want to see Yuki getting with Sohei. I want to see Hana like developing her character, going back to college. After her kids graduate, I want to see Ame being king of the fucking mountain.
yeah.
I think that out of all the characters, Ame probably got done dirty the most because he kind of just like it's just inferred that the shit that happens he just learns, right? Like we
Yeah.
don't see him how he meets Sensei. We don't see what he does in the mountain to help balance.
That's just kinda glossed over
Yeah, a
entirely.
lot of it's just glossed over. Like it's just lone wolf mysterious nature and just like stuff like that. It's just, I was like, I kind of wish that I saw that more, you know?
Yeah. I feel like I almost feel like the story, as good as it is as a movie, would benefit from a novelization to, like,
It
flesh
really
out some of
would.
those story beats that weren't completely fleshed out.
I agree.
Freaking after an epilogue after story.
Not even no, like, an actual novelization of the entire story so we could get those story beats actually fleshed out.
Yeah, that'd be cool, but I don't
Um,
think Mamoru Hosoda is much of an author, more so than a
Not like that. He's
screenwriter.
more of a screenplay writer.
Yeah.
I don't know. There may actually be a novelization or a manga version of this. I don't know. I know that the story itself is like an anime original thing. It's not for like an adaptation of a previous story. Um, but I don't know. I feel like having some of those story beats fleshed out probably would have been a little bit better. Um, but then it probably would have made the movie like 2.5 to 2 hours 45 minutes long.
Yeah, like I personally just wanted to see more like fleshed out story between Sohei and Yuki and also just like Ame. Especially
Yeah.
Ame. Like again, I just feel like
Because we
it's done
talked about it. We
dirty.
talked about it at the beginning, right? Well, not even at the beginning. We talked about it before we even started recording. That this movie has pretty decent pacing in the first half, and then the second half, especially like the last quarter, goes really quick.
Yeah, it kind of just zooms.
Alex,
Like there's a lot of
real
time
quick,
skip and stuff.
Hmm?
there is a novel version of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Apparently, there is a novelization of it.
Oh.
Okay, I should read it. I wonder if the stuff like with Ame, like out in the forest with Sensei and that kind of stuff is like fleshed out more.
Hmm.
Maybe the stuff with the grandpa is also fleshed out more. Like I just feel like there's like two or three story beats like that they're put out there. They're kind of developed a little bit, but then they're unresolved. I
Oh,
really wish we could get some resolution to that.
I'm sorry. There's a novel and a manga form.
Well, there you
Oh.
go.
Huh? Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, no,
I
the
felt like
last.
there might have been because like with Makoto Shinkai, he writes novelizations of all of his movies.
Yeah, but
So
it's Makoto Shinkai. He's a
yeah.
visionary.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, the last few bits of the movie does go by real quick, but I feel like the pacing is at a pretty good level for me at least. I appreciated how they took it and where they took it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I liked how they did the montage of like the passage of time for
Like
Ame and Yuki when they entered school.
yeah, when it starts in Ame being in first grade. No, is it? Yeah, no,
Yeah.
second grade, and then Yuki is no Yuki's in second grade. Ame's in first grade. and
Right.
like it just switches back and forth between the two classrooms, and then as it goes back, you'll see it changes from third grade, second grade, then fourth grade, third grade, and
Yeah,
then
and
eventually
I
Ame's
thought that
just
was
not
cool.
there.
Yeah, I believe he leaves in like 5th grade or something, or 4th
Like
grade.
something like that. It's in between like third and fifth grade somewhere he leaves.
Yeah, and also, like, I didn't realize that people were just cool with that, I guess.
Like yeah,
And them country rules, I guess. You just, "Oh, yeah, I have a 3rd grade education," and just leave school. Like, "Okay, yeah, that's fine. Go with your mom to work at the observatory. That's fine."
yeah. Also, like nice touch having her become like a conservatist.
Yeah, that was cool, 'cause it works. She gets paid a little bit of money, but also she gets to work with animals and, like, nature and learn more.
Yeah.
Because she's like, oh god, she's such a fucking nerd, bookworm. Like, everything I can learn, I can learn from books.
Which is true. Like everything today, you can get like an actual college education on YouTube. Harvard puts a lot of its lectures on YouTube for free. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah,
Get
okay.
learned, kids.
I graduated from Harvard YouTube, okay?
I'm not saying you'll have the actual documentation. I'm just saying you might have the knowledge.
I guess.
You can do a lot more with knowledge than documentation.
You can fuck a
That's
wolf.
true. Yeah, you can look.
Alex, you fucking furry.
Excuse me, who's the one who actually named himself that?
No comment.
So who
All
brought this
right.
cry like a bitch at the end? You, Shinoda?
Yes, it was him.
Bro, when Ame left, I was ugly crying. I was like, damn, that was a hell of a
Can I
journey.
ask you something,
I
Yeah,
Shinoda?
no, I definitely
feeling
felt bad for Hana, but like again, I was like, but this is what he has to do.
no, I was happy for him, but it was just such a melancholic
Bittersweet.
moment.
Yeah, yeah. It's bittersweet, melancholic.
Can I ask you something, Shinoda?
Yeah,
Have you seen Makia?
I have not. I'm afraid
Let me
to.
tell you something. When you
You want to
watch
talk about
that,
crying like a little
I
bitch?
when
I
you watch
remember
that,
when
you will
Alex first
cry.
watched it, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And ever since then, I'm like, I should probably watch it, but I'm afraid to watch it.
Man, that ending hits you like a Mack truck. I'm not even joking. But yeah, so to end this out, like let's talk about what we give this out of 10. I guess Shinoda, you go first.
I gave it a 9 out of 10. I really loved the movie. It hit me very deep, just like what John was talking about, the whole not mixed race, but cross-cultural child. I'm a literal immigrant. I came over here from Sri Lanka and grew up half over there, the rest of my life over here. So this movie, the impact of the two different sides of growing up, it really hit me hard, and it made me empathize with the movie a lot more, and just the whole journey of Hana's single motherhood. It was very touching. The effort she put in, it really spoke to me, and it gave me a new perspective on single motherhood that gave me appreciation for what all these women do. So it was a 9 out of 10 for me. And all the visuals and the audio, good stuff, great stuff. That was
Yeah.
just a benefit.
Yep.
So
All
very
right,
high on my list. I love the movie.
John.
It's my favorite Mamoru Hosoda movie. 8 out of 10. This is the highest score I can give. I've given any Mamoru Hosoda movie. So
That's I
I
would I agree. It is. I think it's his best movie too.
I really like this movie. It has everything I want in it. I just wanted more. Just
Mm-hmm.
like how I wanted more from Belle. Um but God, again, Mamoru Hosoda knows how to like set up stories. It's just the execution on some of his other works are just not as great. I feel like this is his closest work, his first work, first of all, leaving Madhouse and with Wolf's Children to like get most of the story beats out there. Like it doesn't overstay its welcome, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of things. The music, the storyline, story beats, and stuff like that. Because again, it's supposed to be a movie about the family and
Yeah.
how they grow up together and cope and move on. And it does not overstay its welcome for any of it. I want it to stay a little bit longer for at least Ame and Yuki, but
Yeah.
I digress. And the fact that there are story beats that just go nowhere, like again with the Sohei thing or the Grandpa Nirasaki thing, like that's just it goes nowhere. And I'm like, I wish it did. I wanted
Yeah.
to know more. Like I was hoping when I originally watched it, when Grandpa Nirasaki like shows up, I was like, oh, that's gonna be like this is his actual dad or something, like this is his grandpa from the countryside that he escaped from because they show that when Hana is looking for a house, she has that postcard from
Mhm.
like this is from his hometown or something, I'm assuming. And she's looking for a place like that. So I'm assuming she's going back to his hometown. That's what I had assumed. I I,
Yeah.
I assumed incorrectly. It was just a random ass postcard. Uh but
That's a red herring. It was a red herring.
yeah, it fucking bamboozled me. And the fact that the wolf dad was like, I want a house. And I was like, bro, same. I want my own place. Like, how relatable. It's an 11-year-old film. It's how super fucking relatable.
How serendipitous of Mamoru Hosoda to understand how expensive houses would become.
Oh,
Oh man, I'm right in between both of you guys. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. I agree with John. I think it's Mamoru Hosoda's best film to date. It hits all the story beats about family and love and figuring out your place in life. I think it hits all of those very well. I think it could be better if it spent a little more time wrapping up some of the story beats that it introduces that kind of go nowhere. And I think I also think visually, maybe besides Belle, because I do think Belle visually is kind of a treat. I think it's
and the
probably his
music too.
second, huh?
The music is really good too.
I just wish there was more of it. Um, I think visually, it's probably his best looking movie.
Right.
Which I really appreciate as well. Like, I think from a technical standpoint, it's his best looking movie in general. Um, but yeah, I my only gripes with it is that I just wish some of the minor story beats that were introduced either got wrapped up or actually contributed to like the main narrative in some capacity. And I do genuinely think that that whole thing you mentioned with the postcard, I don't know if it's a like planned to be a red herring. I wonder if like the original story, like the first draft of it, that guy was supposed to be the dude that raised him, that raised Wolf Boy.
I would have liked that a lot more.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could have Mama Hosoda hire me. I would make your writing a lot better.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if we go that. It's pretty good
Oh,
as
okay,
is.
Alex. Okay.
Oh, it's pretty good as is. It's just I really wish some of these minor story beats kind of got their like either got wrapped up or got like integrated into the main story somehow.
Right.
That's really my only gripe with this movie, and the only thing that really keeps it from being like a 9 or a 9.5 or even a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
All right, fair.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's Wolf Children. I don't know if this is an appropriate thing for. Does this count as a Halloween movie? I mean, it's wolves. It's howling at the moon.
No.
Well, it's
Wouldn't
gonna
say
go out the
so.
day before Halloween, so happy Halloween, everybody!
Happy Halloween!
Spooky season.
Yeah, spooky, scary wolf digs! Yay!
Ah, yeah, I can get into that.
All right. Well, on that note, I do want to say thank you all out there for dropping in to watch us talk about Wolf Children. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff if you liked what you see and want to see more. We have new episodes of this podcast coming out every single Monday. Also, check down below for links to you can find Anime Club After Dark on Twitter, on Discord. We have a TikTok now, thanks to Natai. Thank you, Natai, even though you're not here. We also have a link to our merch store down below where you can find all kinds of great Anime Club After Dark merch. There is also some Halloween merch down there as well. I think that's it, though. With that, I have been your host, Alex, and I will see you next time. Say goodnight, guys.
Good night. Bye. Oh, you too cool to say bye now, Shinoda?
I just want to tell you guys, she took that dick from that wolf without any hesitation.
Oh my god.
She wasn't even concerned in the slightest.
Big mood.
I hate it here.
You know what? Belle was the same way in Beauty and the Beast. She didn't know that dude could turn into someone. She was ready to take that beast dick.
I
as
think
is.
Mamoru
And then
Hosoda has
there's
something he wants to
The
tell
Boy
us.
and the Beast and Summer Wars. Is Mamoru Hosoda a furry, guys?
Yes.
I think he is.
What we have learned from Mamoru Hosoda's like filmography is that he is actually a furry in disguise, in clever disguise, I might add.
No. I need her fucking the Wolfman for plot reasons, not
just
because
like-
I'm into that.
It's like Quentin Tarantino saying, "No, I need the close up of the feet for plot reasons, man.
Yeah.
Very
It's not that I
important.
like feet;
Tarantino.
it's just that I need it for the plot."